I know, I know. I look like a lumberjack with this friggin' beard. This thing doesn't connect ever. Let me calm down. Let me calm down. But anyway, small beard aside, I finally finished JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 1 to 3. And I can honestly say, I freaking loved it. And I still do. I love it. I love every second of it. It was so much fun. I don't know what's wrong with my ear. But anyway, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is definitely an anime that I did not picture myself ever watching. It was like just came out of nowhere. That I mean, I've heard of it, obviously. Anime is super popular nowadays, but I never got it gave it a proper go. Like I didn't give it one episode at least to give it a proper like. Oh man, maybe I wouldn't like this show, or maybe I would. But literally last year, I just was so bored and I was caught up on One Piece. I was just caught up on everything. And I just decided to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure just because why not? I powered through part 1 and it was amazing. Part 2 was even more amazing, and part 3, well, yeah. But we'll get into the specifics. Let's just start at the start. Part 1 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Phantom Blood. Now, if I say season 1 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I will get murdered and sent to the wolves. And I don't really want that. I kind of want to stay alive. So I'm going to call them parts from now on because I guess that's what they're referenced or how they're being explained. But JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 1 starts with a very interesting art style with characters that are super memorable. Speedwagging. I could understand that he truly is the ultimate waifu. I can clearly see that. And Jonathan was a character that I really liked. He was such a inspiring character. Dio, this guy's a freaking menace. And they don't really shy away with that. I was kind of surprised how gory this anime was, but Dio is definitely a character. He doesn't really have a backstory. I mean, kind of, but he doesn't need a backstory. That's the thing. Dio is such an interesting character to me that he just doesn't need a backstory. He doesn't need anything. All you need to know for Dio is that he is just a menace to society. Now, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is known for its stands, and I was actually kind of surprised that Hamon was the main power system before stands, and I was like, I kind of want to get into the stands, but if this is what I have to go through to get to the stands, then I'll go through it. I'll go through it. So it was a short, simple package. Jonathan is a great character. Their fight with Dio, it was just amazing. And the thing is that I was really surprised with the whole vampire thing. I don't know. It's, the name is called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, so you would expect bizarre stuff happening. I didn't expect vampires and things like that, but whatever. I think it's cool. And one thing that I really like about JoJo that's kind of consistent right now is the whole generation thing. Like this whole first we go through the grandfather and then the great grandfather and then the son and then the son of the son and then the son of the son of the son and things like that. So I think that's really awesome. That's a really cool concept. And I started seeing that the first time with JoJo, but after seeing Orb on the Movements of the Earth, I obviously could see that had a bit of resemblance from JoJo, which was super awesome. So overall, I think part 1 is a solid start, but he gets defeated. He gets sent into the bottom of the ocean after he unfortunately kills Jonathan, and we move on to part 2. Pow! Part 2. This is it. This is where I got hooked. Like part 1 was like, okay, this is cool. This is cool. I like it. But part 2, woo, we move on to 1930s. And this is where we meet our new protagonist, Joseph's Joestar. At first it was Jonathan Joestar, now it's Joseph Joestar. And I'm gonna be honest, I'll be honest, I didn't like Jonathan at start. I don't know what was wrong with me. I just thought that Jonathan was just like a meh character because it's just like, come on, man, take it seriously. Come on, there's lives on the line. Why are you like goofing around? And as I was watching as I was watching part two, I started to grow more and more with Joseph Joestar, and I just freaking love him now. He's definitely my favorite protagonist. Well, favorite Joestar so far. But super, super amazing story. And also, I love how over the top Joseph is with his battles. I mean, his first battle, he literally runs away, while like 2 seconds later, he had a Tommy gun. Like, it's so weird and bizarre. Part two, definitely a big step up in terms of story and in terms of like action and things like that, and interesting characters too. Caesar, he was goofy, but they were the best duo during their time. Joseph doing goofy stuff like looking at a naked woman through the peephole, like it's just goofy stuff. Let's get into the serious stuff. The Pillarmen. Thousands of years just in a pillar, and they are just absolutely destroying everyone. And once they get with the stone, the thing, I forgot the name. This. But once they get that, they can be immortal and they can just walk around in the sun and things like that. And it's really interesting how they play through that. And now we finally go through the probably one of the most epic endings in Jojo so far, which is the final fight between Cars and Joseph. It's just that whole sequence is just like Joseph is literally a human, but he's surviving all of this, and it's like so like over the top and so cool. But obviously, we needed to get Cars out of here. We blew him up to the space, and we defeated probably one of the most destructive people in the world. Joseph survives, and he marries Susie Q, and we all live happily ever after. Until probably one of the most exciting first episodes of any part 3. Part 3 is definitely an interesting one, because not only do we get introduced to a new Jojo, but we get introduced to, finally, stands, the thing that I was super excited for. So we get to see Jotaro Kujo. Not really Joestar, but who cares? You have Joe in it, so who cares? It's fine. So Jotaro is in the jail cell, and he's locking himself up. Why? Because he has an evil spirit behind him doing whatever he wants. He gets a gun to his head, and the spirit stops the bullet before it even gets out of the chamber. Like, he's super like, what's happening? What's happening with this freaking spirit that's following me around? But we get to probably one of the most interesting reveals. Joseph. He just comes back. I thought that would, with what happened with Jonathan, I was like, oh man, well, I guess Joseph died off screen or something, of old age or something. But he comes back for this part, which is super fun. So after we finally leave the jail cell, we go through amazing adventures to save Holly, the daughter of Joseph. And she has a sickness that was only casted in Egypt, and by a mysterious someone that we haven't seen in a long time. Dio, he comes back. You remember when he died in the ocean? Well, he was in a chest. The sailors just fished him out of there, and he just started wreaking havoc again. So it's up to the crew to go through on adventures, finding stand users, seeing unique different personalities with these stands, and overall having a good old time. But there's one small problem that I have with this part. And unfortunately, it's the pacing. Oh my gosh, the pacing is diabolical. The amount of times that I got sleepy watching these episodes was so many times. That's why it took me an entire year. Like, I started this last year and I finished it like a few days ago. Like, oh my god. It was diabolical. I'm gonna be honest. I'll say it right here. It had worse pacing than Wano, and that's a lot to say. I know that's a lot to say, but wow, that pacing was atrocious. Pacing aside, was the story super fun and entertaining? Yes, it was absolutely fun. It was kind of repetitive with the whole villain of the week kind of trope, but nonetheless, it was still a great time. But then we get to probably the biggest time of our lives for our heroes, and that is going to Egypt. And now we get to the probably one of the most shocking times of my time watching this show, and that is when they finally get to Dio's chamber. We get to Darby the player. We defeat him. And then all of a sudden Avdol gets defeated. Unfortunately, that was the end for him. It was kind of swift and kind of but unfortunately, it was unfortunate. And it was actually kind of sad seeing the Avdol and Iggy go to heaven or whatever. So we finally get to meet Dio. And I can honestly say this man is the biggest of the menaces. I mean, this man is hitting poses like this, like in a little tower before he starts fighting our heroes. Like, it is, this man is stylish. Like, we can all say whatever we want about Dio, but that man has style. Still, Dio is still a menace. We need to stop him. But we get probably one of the most coolest stands ever introduced. The world. This reveal was probably one of the biggest moments in the show. I had to replay it 3 times just to appreciate the power of that sound design. It was so awesome. It was just up to Jotaro versus Dio. And this fight was amazing. I mean, I thought that the fight with Jojo and Dio at the start, or the Pillarman and Jojo at part 2, were cool, but this one was like legendary. It was like all this time, this has been leading up, and we finally get to see this moment, and it did not disappoint at all. It was definitely a fight for the ages, and probably one of the most surprising moments was the fact that Jotaro can stop time too, or at least can step a few seconds while Dio was stopping time. After all this 100 years of turmoil, we finally defeat the biggest menace of society. Now, this is I know the title is review, and I don't know why I gave like a full on like a summary of everything, but I'm gonna go finally to the review. So for Phantom Blood, super great, super amazing. Battle Tendency, super great, even better. So I'm gonna say Battle Tendency over Phantom Blood, and then I would put part 3 under Battle Tendency. I'm gonna say part 3 is a little bit from Battle Tendency, just because Battle Tendency was not only do we have an amazing at the protagonist, but it was super quick paced. It was nice. It was compacted. It was fresh. It was nice. So I still like the whole story in Battle Tendency. Part 3 is definitely where the show has its very great moments, but I cannot forgive the pacing. And Phantom Blood, it is the start, which is kind of unfortunate that it didn't have that big oomph that part 2 had, but still really, really great. And as of making this video, I actually started a few episodes of part 4, and I can honestly say, Joseph, what is wrong with you?